Hey guys, welcome back to another math lesson with HK Math and Science. This video is about finding a percentage, and hopefully by the end of this lesson we should all be able to express one quantity as a percentage of another quantity and also be able to find a certain percentage of a quantity. So let's just pause the video here and just take a couple of minutes to write all these down. Alright, so we're going to start off by looking at the key ideas of how to express one quantity as a percentage of another. So the first step is to write a fraction with the part amount as the numerator and the whole amount as the denominator. And then we're going to convert the fraction to a percentage by multiplying by 100. So there's two steps in this case. So there's just a quick example down here. So our first thing, express a test score of 14 out of 20. So the part amount here is going to be the 14. And the whole amount is going to be the 20. So we're going to write that as a fraction. 14 is the numerator, 20 is the denominator, so that gives us 14 out of 20. And then the next step was to convert to a percentage by multiplying by 100. So once you've done that, that's what it should look like. And we've got the calculations down here. Once you work through all that, that will give you a value of 70%. Alright, so now let's go through a couple of questions with these key ideas. So we have 34 out of 40. Remember, we write the part amount as the numerator and the whole amount as the denominator. So it'll be 34 out of 40. And then we multiply by 100 to get that as a percentage. So let's work through that. That's the same as 34 over 40 times 100 over 1. Let's simplify wherever we can. We can simplify diagonal here. That gives us divided by a factor of 10, so cancel the 0, that gives us 4 and 10. We can divide it once more diagonally by 2 this time, that gives us 2 here and 5 up here. And we can also cancel vertically. They can both be, once again, be divided by 2, that gives us 1 here, and that gives us 17 here. Now we have 17 over 1 times 5 over 1, and let's just quickly work through that. 17 times 5 gives us 35, 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So we have 34 over 40 is 84%. Alright, now let's try the next one on the right. Once again, 13 out of 30, that's the numerator, that's the denominator. So we have 13 out of 30, and then we multiply it by 100 to get the percentage. So let's work through that. That becomes 13 over 30 times 100 over 1. Cancel the zeros here. And you can't simplify any further because the 3 is a prime number. So we have 130 over 3. And now let's divide that to get that as a percentage. 3 does not go into 1. 3 goes into 13 4 times with the remainder of 1. 3 goes into 10 3 times. The remainder of 1 again. And it keeps going in 3 times. So our answer will be 43.3. Put the dot up the top to show it's a recurring percent. Alright, now for the next one, same deal, 11 over 60 times 100 over 1. Cancel out the zeros. You can also simplify diagonal here by a factor of 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 10 divided by 2 is 5. That gives us 55 over 3. And let's divide that. 3 goes into 5 once, with the remainder of 2. 3 goes into 25, I think 8 times, with the remainder of 1. 3 goes into 10 3 times, the remainder of 1, and this one's also recurring. So we have 18.3 recurring percent. Give yourself a tick if you got that one correct as well. Alright, so these next few problems are pretty much the same thing, except it's just got a few more words in it. So let's have a go at that. 60 cents as a percentage of 4. So that's going to be $5, sorry. That's going to be the numerator, and that's going to be the denominator. The first step we need to do here is to make the units the same though. Notice how this one on the left is cents and that one is in dollars. We either need to make them both into dollars or both into cents. I'll make them both into cents just so it's a bit easier to work out. So there's 100 cents in a dollar, so that means there's going to be 500 cents in $5. So we have 60 over 500 times 100 over 1 to get our percentage. Alright, so let's cancel out what we can. We can cancel out these two zeros with those two, and that just gives us 60 over 5 times 1 over 1. That gives us 60 over 5, and let's simplify that. 60 divided by 5 is 12. and that will give us 12%. Alright, so same deal with the next one. We need to write it as a fraction and then multiply by 100. And in this case, we also need to change the units so they're common. We have 2 kilometers here and 800 meters here. I'm going to make them both into meters. Once again, you can make them both into kilometers if that's easier for you, but I'll just do it with meters. So there's 1000 meters in a kilometer, so there's 2000 meters in 2 kilometers. So 2 kilometers as a percentage of 800 meters. So that's the whole here because it's next to the of. So we have 2000 over 800 times 100 over 1. So let's cancel out the zeros where we can. So that gives us 2000 over 8. And let's just divide that. 8 goes into 20 twice. The remainder of 4. Once again, it goes into 45 times, and it goes into 0 times. So we have an answer of 250, and an answer will then be 250%. Alright, so for the first one on the left, once again, let's use cents. So 30 cents as a percentage of $2. So there are 200 cents in $2. So let's write that as a fraction, 30 over 200. And we need to multiply by 100 to get that as a fraction. So let's do that. I'll just jump straight to this step. And let's cancel out the zeros. So now we have 30 over 2 times 1 over 1. And 30 divided by 2 is, or 30, let's do 30 over 2 times 1 over 1. That gives us 30 over 2. And then 30 divided by 2 is 15. So answer is 15%. Give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. And the next one, we have 2 meters as a percentage of 80 centimeters. Let's convert that into centimeters. It's 100 centimeters in a meter, so there's 200 centimeters in 2 meters. So 2 meters as a percentage of 80 centimeters, this one will be the numerator. So we have 200 over 80 times 100 over 1. Now let's simplify where we can once again. We can simplify that, and we can simplify vertically as well by dividing them both by 2. Let's divide that by 2. That gives us 4, and that gives us 100. We can do that one more time. Divide that by 2 again. We can just divide by 4 actually. Divide this by 4, that gives us 1. Divide 100 by 4, that gives us 25. So we have 25 over 1 times 10 over 1. If we work that out, that gives us 250 over 1. So our answer is again 250%. Give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. So let's move on to the next part of the lesson, and that is to find a percentage of a quantity. So there are 4 steps in this, and the first of these is to express the required percentage as a fraction. So in this case, with the required percentage is 20%. That as a fraction is 20 over 100. Change the of to a multiplication sign. Express the number as a fraction, and then follow the rules for multiplication of fractions. So there's an example here, find 20% of 80. First step once again was to write that as a fraction, 20 over 100. Change the of here to a multiplication sign, and then write the 80 as a fraction. It's just a whole number, so 80 as a fraction is 80 over 1. And then just follow the multiplication rules that we've learned previously to work out the answer. Alright, so let's have a go at doing this. First step was to write the percentage as a fraction. So percent is always out of 100. So 25 will be out of 100. Change the of to multiplication sign, and then write that as a fraction. That gives us 128 over 1. So 100 over here, I'll just fix that up. Yep. So let's simplify where we can now. We can divide both the top here and the bottom here by 25. That gives us 1 here and 4 here. And we can also divide, I'm pretty sure we can divide that by 4. So that gives us 1 here. Let's try to divide 128 by 4. That gives us 32. So we'll have 32 up here. So we now have 1 over 1 times 32 over 1. And that gives us a value of 32. So 25% of 128 is 32. Next one, same deal here, 155% of 60. Write that as a fraction first. 155 out of 100 times 60 over 1. Alright, now let's cancel out the zeros. That's the easiest one to do. Let's do that first. And now let's divide both the top here and the bottom here by 5. That gives us 2 down here, and 155 divided by 5. That gives us 31. So we have 31 up the top here. And now let's cancel diagonally once more. We can divide it by 2. That gives us 1 here. And that gives us 3 here. So now we have 31 over 1 times 3 over 1. And that gives us 93 over 1, or 93. So 155% of 60 is 93. Alright, now that you're back, let's have a go at the one on the left. So 25% of 84, write that as a fraction first. 25 out of 100 times 84 over 1. Now we can cancel vertically here by dividing both the top and the bottom by 25. That gives us 1 here and 4 here. And we can also cancel diagonal here by dividing both of them by 4. So 84 divided by 4 is 21. So we have 21 up here and 1 down here. So we now have 1 over 1 times 21 over 1 equals 21. So 25% of 84 is 21. And give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. And now next one, 140% of 30. Once again, write it as a fraction. And then 30 over 1. Now let's cancel where we can. Cancel diagonally the zeros and cancel vertically the zeros. And now we have 14 over 1 times 13. Let's have a go at that. Times 3, sorry, I don't know why I said 13. So 14 times 3 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4. So we have 42. So 140% of 30 is 42, and give yourself a tick if you got that one correct. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. Hopefully by now you can tick off all the success criteria, and you can express one quantity as a percentage of another quantity, and can also find a certain percentage of a quantity. Once again, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys all back online.